everyone. Welcome back to Real Talk with Just for Girlfriends. As you can see, one of our co-hosts, Angelique David, is not able to be with us today, but Robin and I will hold it down. And we have a great show in store for you. But before we get started, let us introduce ourselves. I'm Michelle Skinner, one of the co-hosts here, also a longtime member of Just for Girlfriends. I'm also on the board of directors, and I run all of Just for Girlfriends social media sites. So I'll say it now. Go find us on Instagram, Facebook, all the sites at Real Talk with Just the number 4 Girlfriends, as you see it running across the bottom of your screens. You'll hear me say that at least 2 more times throughout this episode. But before we get started, Robin, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I am Robin McFarland. I am a proud member of Just for Girlfriends, but also on the board of directors as well. I bring the fun and a lot of ideas, and I'm glad to be a part of this here today, and the proud first member. So welcome, everybody.
I love to hear it. And if Angelique were here, she would tell you a little bit about Just for Girlfriends. I'll sort of do that now, but of course, I probably will not do as an amazing job as she has, as she's the founder, and CEO. It's her brainchild. But Just for Girlfriends, it's a group of women where our main objective is to engage in self-care. Just for Girlfriends plans different and exciting options for you to do just that. And the beauty of it is you don't have to do anything but show up. You can come or you don't come. There's no minimum quotas. You're not obligated to do anything. But when you see something that catches your eye, you just show up. Just for Girlfriends takes care of all of the details. And I'll tell you, I didn't realize how much I needed something like this until I started participating in it. And then I was like, what took me so long? So we say self-care is not selfish, and Just for Girlfriends is here so that you can easily jump off and start putting you first, at least once a month.
At least once a month.
Yeah. Yes. So go to the website. It's also the URL, Real Talk with Just for Girlfriends. You'll find more information there, and you'll find out how to join us. We'd love to have you.
Yes. And we have a ball. We have a ball each and every time.
Every time. Lots of laughs. You leave there feeling really good. So we can't say enough good things about it. Yes. So Robin, before we get engaged in our topic with our special guest, tell me what's been on your mind lately?
Michelle, first of all, this was hard, right? Like what has not been on my mind was probably a better question.
That's true.
Just as there's so much going on, and the summer is running rapidly. It is running so fast. Now you have school-age children. I do not. Yeah. And so I just can't even imagine as I'm trying to schedule things with you all, right? You guys are already preparing for school. And I'm like, wait a minute, but it is running very fast. So a couple of things. Like, how do I was kind of thinking back to a comedy special of Dion Cole, is you have so many summers. How do I maximize on my time, especially in the Chicago summers, but also taking myself into consideration, learning new things. I need my job, as well as really enjoying my friends. Like enjoying ourselves. I feel like we text a lot, but we don't see each other a ton, right? Just because we're in different stages. I have grown adult children. For everybody who doesn't know, all of my besties have school-age children, and so they're doing a little bit of different things. So what to do has probably been how much YOLOing shall I do, Michelle? This summer. I think that's where I am at, and just trying to think about. Not only myself, but also some of the new things that I have picked up over the past 2 summers. So I've picked up golfing, right? So people are like, why'd you do golfing? And anybody, you can guess the reasons. My husband does it. He asked me to do it. I did it. Like that. I mean, it's as simple as that. And
that's right. Easy. Right.
Right. It's that easy. He likes doing it. I actually kind of like it. I like to win. I'm not good at it. But it's fun. And we get to do it together. So I've picked up golf. I was thinking about picking up pickleball. I've been trying new restaurants. And a few, but I was like, what is too much, Michelle? Like, what is too much? Like, how much of this can I sustain? And then I'm literally falling in bed in the middle of the night. But then I think about, man, how much longer? So I had already started scheduling an itinerary for next summer for like,
Wow.
right, like a vacation, like. But
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm at the age where I'm thinking like, I need to do this while I can still do it. And how, right? Like, how much of this do you do without just overwhelming yourself? And to the point of, am I being a little selfish? And that I'm doing all of these fun things, and should I be thinking about some other things? So I think that's where I am, and I think it's an age thing. Like, I'm getting older,
Yeah.
and just how much should I do? What should I do, and who should I do it with? I think that's the biggest thing. Somebody told me a long time ago, the older you get, the years are quick. And what is it? The years are quick and the days are slow.
Right. And that's so true. And you
Yeah,
know what's too much? I don't,
that's too much.
yeah. And I'm always a little bit extra. So I don't ever think anything is too much, but you're
Yeah,
right. I
yeah,
was just thinking about this the other day is that we have just a few more weeks and the kids are back in school. And I
yeah.
feel like I have not done enough this summer. I'm on the
And
opposite.
I have not seen you once this summer, Michelle. Like, that's how, right? Like, and we have not. I think we're coming up on a time where we will get to see each other. But I
Yes.
mean, it has really run its course where we're like, oh man, summer's almost done. We have all these grand plans, but yeah, how do you execute on that kind of stuff and be a responsible adult, and y'all got kids, and all this
Right.
stuff. So I think that's where I am with, I think, I don't know. And I feel like other people are thinking the same, but I don't know. Like,
And it's
how do you fit
funny.
it in? How do you have fun? So I think that's where
I,
I'm at, that how
yeah,
am I
I
maximizing on this year?
Right. I saw someone on one of the platforms, and they had an interesting perspective along these lines too. She said she was wearing herself out trying to YOLO. People say, like you said, you only have so many summers left, and she packed her schedule, and she said it nearly took her out. So now she said she changed her perspective, and quality over quantity, pretty much. But she said, I just woke up one day, I couldn't even move. I had been doing so much, all the because there's so much to do when it's nice weather. All the brunches, vacations, the boat ride. It's just so much
Yes,
to do. And she was like,
so
YOLO, let me get
much, so
into
much.
this.
And you got to get in. I got to get in. It's how you, and then I got to get in my weight training because I'm of a certain age. I got to take my vitamins. I'm on a
Yeah,
diet constantly, right? Like, all the things. And I'm tired, but there's some other things to do. So I think that's what I've been trying to say. Ooh, how I've also made some friends that are a little bit older. Let me say that, and I've been listening to them. They're like at retirement or retired, and I've been
oh,
listening to what they've been saying, and they were like, "Do it, do every bit of it, like." Don't even worry about your money. Don't even, they were like, just do it all now, because we are of an age where I can't do some of those things that maybe I thought about I should have done 15 years ago. So I'm trying to balance that.
I mean, that's a great point. And they are coming from the perspective of, having lived longer than they will likely live in the future. So their perspective, I think that is a good advice. What do they say? We should do
Yeah,
it.
they were like YOLO, Robin. They were like, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Do it. Yeah, and I'm sure some other folks out in the comments are probably wondering the same. Put your stuff in there. What do you think we should do? What do you want to do? Give me some suggestions. Tell me what you're doing, and then also don't forget to tell us about where you're tuning in from, and put
Yeah,
it in
let
the
us know.
comments, and we'll be able to ask questions there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I think this subject is a great segue into our topic for this afternoon. We are so excited to be discussing ethical non-monogamy. And with us today is Taylor K. Sparks. I will say world renowned. She's very well known as a coach and a specialist in this area. And she's here with us to sort of give us some insight onto what is ethical non-monogamy and how does it all work. Welcome, Taylor.
Welcome, Taylor.
Hi, how are you all? Thank you so much for having me. But wait, I was listening to you. Robin, how old are you?
Oh man, I'm not gonna say that on this air, Taylor.
Oh, God. No, seriously, come on now.
Right.
Yeah, listen, the fact that you were talking and you can see there's more right with you than wrong with you. How old are you? I'm gonna tell you how old I am. I'm ready because you're talking about being old.
I am almost 52.
Girl, I got more than 10 years on you, and I'm doing all the things. I'm not sure whom you are speaking with about, 15 years ago. That's a mindset.
They say do it. They're saying do it too. They're saying what you're saying, Taylor. They're like, do it.
But it's a mindset. You're not old. You're not getting old. You're aging, but you're not getting old.
Gracefully.
I just ran my 9th half marathon. I did the International Cancun. I'm 65. So don't like, don't, I ran my first marathon at 40. So don't, you keep going to the gym, you keep taking all your vitamins, you get your sleep, have lots and lots of sex, lots and lots of love. Sex keeps you young, keeps your skin glowing. I'm telling you.
Okay. Yep. The secret to a long life. Yep. You heard it here.
Well, good.
I've heard that.
Good relations. It gotta be good. Yes. If it ain't no good, then you just gotta take care of yourself.
Thank you for that.
Well, Taylor, tell our audience a little bit about you before we jump into this hot topic.
Well, you already know how old I am. I am an ethical non-monogamy coach and sex goddess. I am the founder of Organic Lovin', LOVN.com, where we specialize in improving adult sexual health and wellness and enhancing their sex lives. And we do that through our intimate body products, our organic and body safe sex toys, sex positive books, webinars, seminars, coaching, and luxury adults only vacations. That's the short part of it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we'll hear more about all of this as we get into the subject. But I've told everybody, today we're discussing ethical non-monogamy. Now that's a mouthful. Can you just tell us what is that? What does that mean?
So ethical non-monogamy is where individuals or couples decide to have multiple partners, whether it's just romantic and or sexual relationships, with all parties knowing and consenting, enthusiastically consenting.
Okay.
So ethical is the operative word, which is a little different than consensual non-monogamy. People tend to use the phrases interchangeably. So you can consent, but it may not be ethical. So ethical is the area we lean towards more than just consensual, but both are needed.
Okay. So what is something that people often, what's a misconception? What do people often get wrong when you're talking about ethical non-monogamy?
They believe it's cheating with permission. That's what I hear most often. They believe it's cheating with permission. It is not, because again, the ethical part. Now, there are different types of non-monogamy. All are not ethical. Cheating is non-monogamous, but it's not ethical. Prostitution is non-monogamy. It's transactional, but again, it's not ethical. So people think that just because you know that your partner is doing something, but if you don't consent to it, then it's not ethical. So it's not cheating with permission. That is not it. Ethical non-monogamy means 2, 3, or 4 people have sat down, had a discussion, and decided what kind of relationship do we want to have. And under the umbrella of ethical non-monogamy, you have open relationships, which could include one or both people in the relationship deciding to have, again, romantic and or sexual relations with other people. And open could even be a don't ask, don't tell situation where you get to decide how much you're asking, how much you're telling, right? So it may be, you know what, babe, I have a date tonight. I'll be home by 8. That's all that's been decided. That's all that wants to be discussed. That's it. And then you may have someone that's like, hey, babe, I have a date tonight with Paul. We're going to go to dinner. We're going to go back to his place and play. I'll be home by midnight. That's it. Then you have the lifestylers or swingers, right? Those are primarily couples who are emotionally monogamous, but physically non-monogamous. They're not trying to have girlfriends and date and have love and all this. They're kind of having recreational sex. Still, there's boundaries that are set, and there's still consent and how much and who does what with whom. You have polygamy, often interchanged with polygyny, but polygamy is multiple spouse, whereas polygyny is one husband, more than one wife. Traditional polygyny you find in Muslim and Mormon religions, but nowadays people are doing it as a way of choice. Polyandry, which is my style of loving, is one wife with more than one husband. That still exists in places in China and Tibet and Nepal and some places in Africa. And then you have polyamory, which is more than one romantic relationship, which may or may not be sexual, where all parties involved are consenting and knowing. So that's just the main ways to be ethical non-monogamy that people have heard about, but there are lots of others.
Okay, so then like situationships, entanglements.
No, those are not ethical because entanglements, they're messy, they're unclear, often secretive. Situationships are usually undefined, no clear agreements. So no, ethical non-monogamy is intentional, it's structured, and it's clear, and it's authentic. You are actually saying, these are the things that I want to do, and these are the people that I wish to do it with. How do you feel about that? What are our boundaries? What can we do or not do? You actually get to design your relationship in the way that works best for you and your partner or partners. And this is not a matter of, is ethical non-monogamy better than monogamy or vice versa? It is not. It is just a different way of having a relationship.
Absolutely. So I'm wondering, how does one even do something like this? So you coach. Do you get couples that have tried monogamy and they're like, okay, we still love each other, but this is not working? And how does it even come about?
Right. Well, it's not so much that monogamy isn't working, because anything will work if you decide to put your mind and effort into it. So it's not that it's not working. Very rarely are people coming to ethical non-monogamy out of chaos or crisis. They're not like, oh my God, he cheated. It's rarely that way. A lot of times it's a matter of, I really would like to love more people, or I want to have sex with more people, and how can we go about doing this in the right way where I can still have a consensual relationship with my partner, and I need to know what are the steps that I need to take. And the hardest thing for most people that we haven't learned growing up, and we don't learn in monogamy, is communication, authentic communication, and being radically honest. You see, because we don't have to be radically honest in monogamy. We say we are, but a lot of times we keep things from our partners because we don't want to hurt their feelings. We keep things, the guy flirting with us at Starbucks every day. We keep that from our partner because we don't want them to get jealous or upset. Even if we're not flirting back, we're just like, thank you, no, that's okay. But we don't mention that to our partner. And in that transition and kind of deprogramming from what monogamy has taught you, that jealousy jealousy means that, that person really cares for you if they're being jealous. And it's the furthest thing from the truth that you don't have the ability to manage your emotions. And it's not true. So when people come to me, they're usually transitioning into, like, they've had some discussion, they've had some thoughts, they want to do it the right way. They're like, we've been talking about this, or my husband doesn't want to talk about it, or he doesn't want to do it. Can we all sit down and have a conversation so we can see, why is it that somebody doesn't want to make a change? And they have the right to. If you don't want to change, it's okay. You see.
Yeah. So how did you get into the position to be coaching this, and how did it start for you?
So within my 25-year marriage, we were 12 years into our marriage, right? No infidelity, no crisis. And we actually went to, where did we go? We went to hedonism. Not as swingers. I didn't know nothing about swingers. I knew nothing about lifestyle. I knew none of that. And we met some swingers. And I'm kind of like you. I'm like, oh my God, how are you doing this? Why are you doing this? who are you doing this? Where are you doing this? I had all these questions.
Yes.
And then, my husband and I were like, no, we don't want to do this. This is not something we want to do. And then we got home and we talked about it. We decided no. But then I said, what would be interesting though? How about an open marriage where we do everything separate? Because swingers, most of the time, they do everything together.
Mhm.
And he was like, what you talking about, Willis?
Imagine that conversation.
Is this a trick? Are you just trying to get me to just agree to this so you can file for divorce? Like you're trying to trick me into agreeing to this, And I'm like, no, I'm just like, it could be fun. I'm traveling, you're traveling, we're both traveling for work. And so, I actually found an article online. I actually Googled benefits of an open marriage. And I found an article online written by a husband and how him and his wife decided to do it. So I said to my husband, look at this. You need to read this. And he's like, okay, let's think about it. I'm like, no, let's do it. Let's just make our rules right now. Let's make our boundaries. Girl, we had 2,711, 562 boundaries.
I'm certain.
Oh my God, the whole state of North Carolina was off limits. Like we couldn't have relations with nobody in the whole state. The whole state was off limits, right?
Why is that? I wonder.
I don't know where we got these things from, girl. We just,
made up stuff. You're
making up things because, initially you're trying to protect the relationship and eventually you figure out there's nothing to protect, but like no spending the night, no relatives or in-laws, like no in-laws, no hotel staff, no coworkers. And then you only had 60 minutes to do whatever. You don't ask me where you got the time from. No longer limited to 60 minutes.
Right. Oh my God.
And so we did that for a couple of years, and then we kind of backed into the swinging thing,
Okay.
And then a few more years after that, I got introduced to polyamory and kink, and I was away. I was hosting an event in Jamaica, and I was like, "Oh my God, babe, we're gonna be polyamorous. I want a boyfriend. No, I want 3 boyfriends. I want a dom. No, I am a dom." He's like, "What now? What are you talking about now? Oh God, what are we doing now?" And he's like, "I don't want a girlfriend. You're more than enough. I'm just gonna do my thing and come home."
Okay.
I'm like, well, we're not attached to the hip, so that went on for like another 13 years or so.
Wow.
So the way I got into the coaching, I've been a corporate trainer for almost 12 years, coaching in the areas of communication, negotiation, conflict resolution, customer service. And then when I launched Organic Lovin', focusing on the toys, I started developing seminars and found myself having so many conversations on adults on the cruises, at the resorts, the hotel takeovers. And so it just went from the seminars to can we just book a little time with you? Okay. And then the book came out a couple of years ago, because even though it's been over 16 years since I've been in Ethical Non-Monogamy, there wasn't a book then, and there isn't one now until I came up with mine 2 years ago in the workbook this year. So
tell us about the book so people can order it. The name of it.
So there's the African American Guide to Ethical Non-Monogamy, right? The how, why, and with whom to explore your expanding love style. So it's just a guide. It's a introduction to ethical non-monogamy. It talks about communication. It talks about the things you're going to need to do this transition. It gives a little bit of my experience. It even talks about consent and even, non-consent in ethical non-monogamy. So it's a basic guide for people who just don't even know where to start. But the workbook of the same name, an African American Guide to Ethical Non-Monogamy, this is where you actually do the work, where you sit down. There's prompts for you as an individual. Let's say it's just you, because you can be non-monogamous as an individual, right? And there's ways for, it takes you through communication skills, negotiation skills, communication skills, boundaries, consent. And, what is your cultural background, right? How important is your culture as an African-American person important to you with regards to expanding your love? Or even if you're monogamous, right? How important is that for you and for your partner to understand that? So there's prompts and journaling and a lot of questions. And then if you are partnered, these similar questions are done for you. And each of the partners get to answer the questions. You come back to the table, and then now you have something to discuss, because there's a lot of things that you just never think to ask your partner or even of yourself when you are monogamous. It would never come up, like, should we be using condoms, and how often do we test? Like, a lot of my monogamous girlfriends who date, I'm like, have you asked your new guy, when's the last time he's been tested? It just almost rarely comes up in monogamy. You just figure that,
Right, yeah.
where it's a very, very upfront thing when you meet somebody, whether you're polyamorous, you're looking for romantic connection to date, or whether you're even kind of out, just being open and swinging. It's like, hey, when's the last time you've been tested? And people they'll shoot to that test in a minute. Like,
I wouldn't even think that people wouldn't ask that this day and age. I would think,
oh, they don't.
They don't.
I have a lot of monogamous friends. I'm like, did you ask him are you not using condoms? What do you mean no? I'm like, you gotta, like.
Yeah. So you got your health skills and your health safety. What about the mental part of it? Like, I would think there would be, I don't know, emotional attachments. Like, how do you manage, or how do you coach people to manage that? Or is that a game changer for not being in it?
It's not a game changer for not being in it. Learning to manage your emotions, and what I help people learning to manage your emotions will help you in every relationship, not just romantic, right? Yeah. Learning to be radically honest, learning to control your triggers, because, when jealousy rises up in us, that's kind of like your check engine light, right? Yeah. That's your clue to look under your hood, so to speak, and go, well, where did that come from? As opposed to, what did she do over there? And what did he do over there? And why are you spending so much time with your mama? Why you at work all these hours? So jealousy can be triggered in many, many ways.
Yeah.
And so helping people to learn, you can manage that emotion, because just because you decide to open up your relationship, you're not going to become exempt from your emotions. Every emotion you've always had will still be there. So whether that's like, lust, love, what feels like love, anger, sadness, insecurity, jealousy, envy, it doesn't go away. But what you can learn to do is use your words, right? Calm yourself down, because just because you have an emotion doesn't mean you have to act upon it right then and there, right? I heard you both have children. Remember when the kids were babies, when they were like 2, before they could form full sentences, right? And they're like, and you're like, what? And you're like, you're like, what do you want? Like, hey, use your words. That's the same thing I'm telling adults today. I swear to you, it was like, use your word. What do you want? Yeah. Tell your partner, what do you want? And we're afraid to hurt their feelings. But when we don't tell our partners the truth about what we do or do not want, because it's not like they get to have whatever they want. You get to say, no, I'm not cool with that.
Right.
And these are the reasons why. And then how do we get in alignment, right? Mm-hmm. How do we get in alignment so that we both can have a relationship that works for the both of us? And it doesn't mean that every single box has to be checked, but the important ones do. Because you can be committed, but not compatible. And people stay together a long time out of the commitment, but they have nothing in common. And things like sex is important for some people. And sometimes people marry the person because they check off, she's going to be a good mom, and I like the church she went to. But then the thing that's most important to you, that intimacy, is not there. And you don't have the skill set, knowledge, ability, strength to say, we need to try to do something about this together, because my needs are not being met, instead of going outside looking for it someplace else. People are so afraid to just be honest with their partners. And so I challenge them, to tell their partners the truth. I was on Married to Medicine a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And they brought me in, as a sex goddess and coach. And one of the things I asked the partners, because some of them have been married from 25 days and some have been married 25 years. How many of you here have ever asked your partner what type of sex you enjoy? Nobody. Ever. Ever.
Yeah.
That's like odd to me.
Yeah.
That has never come up, right?
In 25 years of marriage, in 20 years, in 15 years, you've never said, hey, during the dating process, so tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Interesting. And is it about physical and emotional, or just physical, or just emotional? Can it be both? Like how is it?
With regards to ethical non-monogamy?
Yes, yeah.
Depending on the relationship style, like typically, a lot of times the open relationships could be just like dating. It could be salsa dancing, right? 25 years, I asked my husband to take salsa dancing. For 25 years, he said no. So now I go salsa dancing. I meet Juan, right? Me and Juan hit it off. Juan is single. I'm married. Every Wednesday and Thursday, every Wednesday and Friday, I'm salsa dancing with Juan, right? Okay. Now we go on Friday nights. We decide we're going to go practice together, so we're going to go to the club together. So now 3 nights a week, I'm salsa dancing with Juan. Now, how long do you think at some point one of his boys going to be like, "What do you mean she meeting up with Juan 3 nights a week? You know what he's trying to do." Right? And I'm like, no, we share a passion, Juan and I, for dancing. Yeah. Salsa's intimate. It is. Yeah, it's close. But in monogamy, that is like forbidden fruit. In non-monogamy, it's not. We share this passion for this thing. We do not wish to have relations with each other, but we have this passion. So it's not always a sexual relationship. Sometimes it could be an intimacy in other ways. It could be, I just want to go out to the club and flirt and bring back that energy home. I just want to feel that being wanted again and being single again, but I don't want to do anything with anybody.
Okay.
And sometimes it is physical. Like, yeah, I want that twice a week. Okay. I want to spend the weekend away, because at some point, I did transition from nobody in North Carolina to anybody everywhere to going away for weekends with my boyfriends. Because at one point I did have a husband and 3 boyfriends.
Okay.
I don't know how you manage that. Time management skills must be.
It was, you know why it wasn't so bad? Because 2 of the boyfriends lived out of the state, so they were like, they were like comment lovers. It's like see him once every to the see him once every few months.
Okay.
Right.
And the other boyfriend who lived locally, he was also married, so he had responsibilities with his wife. I had responsibilities. So but there, love is infinite, but time, as you say, is not. You can only love as many people as you got time for. So it's not for everybody.
So, and it sounds like you're having to adjust whatever those boundaries, whatever that structure you set up. Because you've done a lot of different ways here, different things. So, are you having to go back to that full list that was? Sounds like you had so many, and you go back and you start paring it down, or moving things around, or adjusting.
Yeah, because boundaries are not set it and forget it. They're not set in stone. And a lot of times when we first put up the boundaries, we put them up to either protect the relationship or to control our partner.
Yeah.
But we phase it as a boundary.
Yes.
These are my boundaries. You can't 62 minutes and you've broken it. I'm telling you, it's got to be done in 60 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And so you will go back and look at the boundaries again. Go, no, remember that no kissing boundary we had? Because some people have that no kissing boundary because they believe it's too intimate, or the no spending the night boundary because they believe it's too intimate. And everybody's, level of intimacy is going to be different. So it's not a matter of right or wrong, but different. Yeah. And so sometimes you go back.
To that. Yeah.
To adjust them. I guess the key there is that you go back together. You don't take a boundary off on your own. It's a discussion.
No, oh God, no. Yeah. Although people have, and then they're like, see what happened was.
What happened was.
Yeah, and so I tell people when you set the boundary, revisit it in a few months, come back in 6 months and go, is this
Yeah.
still working? Or,
Yeah.
when we set the boundaries, I'm like, listen, these are the boundaries, right? But I don't want my boundaries to be like the walls in a cement tunnel that the boat goes under. Your boundaries should be like the shoreline. You want to have some ebb and flow. Because
Yeah.
I'm not going to, even when I was monogamous, I'm not policing no grown man.
Right.
I'm not checking your phone. I'm not. You know what the rules, the boundaries are. You either abide by them or you're not. But I'm not doing that. So the same thing in the ethical non-monogamy. I'm going to say to my partner, listen, these are the boundaries that we have agreed upon. And if you are somewhere doing something and you're like, I want to do that thing. And I'm like, all I'm going to ask you to do is take me into consideration. Pause for a moment and go, now, if I do this thing that we had agreed that I wasn't supposed to be, not supposed to be, but we had agreed that we were not going to do
that. Yeah.
If I do this, how is my partner going to react to this?
Yeah.
And am I willing to? And then if I decide I'm going to do it, then go ahead and do it. But then I don't want to hear 3 months, 6 weeks, 4 days, and 6 hours later that you told me that happened. When you bring it home, I would expect that, hey, listen, this is what happened. And I wish to, restructure this boundary. But you don't use it as an excuse to do the wrong shit. Excuse me. I was so good for so long.
You're great. Yeah, you're doing wonderful.
You're doing really great. Yeah.
You don't have no idea. I am the swearingest girl. But it's not a reason to go do the wrong thing and then come back and go, oh, I'm sorry. That, everybody has accountability on both sides. So, and, even the protecting the relationship thing, we set up these boundaries to protect ourselves, our own insecurity. And you do have that fear initially. What if my partner falls in love and runs off with somebody else? But monogamous people meet other people and run off all the time, right?
Yes.
They meet at Starbucks and at work and at the gym, at the dentist's office, and we don't be, but that monogamy, that don't work because my partner ran off with the dentist. No, we don't blame. So it's not the relationship style as to whether someone's going to be ethical or not. Because you have people in ethical non-monogamy that cheat.
Yeah. And then,
go ahead.
Yeah. And then your book, right, is African American specific, right? So that leads me to believe that there's some cultural aspects you had to take into consideration.
Yes, ma'am.
No matter which area of the world or the country that we live in, there's just some things there that, from an African American perspective, I could still think nobody would ever talk about this, and they probably like, Robin, why are you on that podcast talking about it right now? So thinking about some of those things, right? And right, again, African American culture, you throw church in there, you throw all kinds of things in there.
Listen,
but some of the things you already said are still don't negate that they're true. So how can you tell me a little bit about that specifically? What did you take into consideration from the African American perspective and experience?
Yes, ma'am. From the African American perspective, we have to talk about slavery, right? Because there's no way around it. So first you have to understand the history of marriage globally around the world, right? Monogamy, the way we know it today, is relatively new. Ethical non-monogamy has existed for millennia, right? Polygyny, polyandry has been almost in every continent of the earth. When we were still hunting and gathering, and well, Black folks weren't living in caves, but the other people living in caves, we weren't, we were building empires. But even at that point, there wasn't this, you belong to me and I belong to you. We were communal, right? We were communal in Africa, we were communal in China, we were communal in Australia, we were communal. And this notion that once we got here, remember when we were kidnapped from Africa, a lot of the women were already married. We were 15 and 14, we were married. We were in communal relationships, and we were brought here, and then not only just relationships torn apart, we were not considered human, so to speak. We were property. We were not allowed to marry. So let's say that we were bred, you had a husband and you two had 2 children, and now your husband had a skill. He was a blacksmith. Well, the plantation owner down the road 5 miles away could negotiate with your plantation owner and decide to borrow him for a year or two, but he's also breeding, and your husband's a big strapping buck. So he's like, listen, I got this gal over here. She's right. I'm going to get me some more babies. So he's going to marry him off to this other one.
Yeah.
This other woman. She just happens to have, 2 sets of twins. So now she got 4 children. So now here comes the post-slavery era. We are now running to the Freedmen's Bureau so we can become legitimized. We want to be citizens of the United States. We want to assimilate and fit in. And Christianity, you have to remember, Christianity doesn't even say monogamy is the only way. Christianity and its rules and bylaws really stems from the Roman Empire way of saying that we have to figure out how we could divide up this inheritance. So it's easier if he only has one wife and one line of children, right? Mm-hmm. So that becomes colonization, goes west, it goes through Africa, and it is forced upon us. If we want to be considered citizens, we have to do the Christian European thing. We have to. And we want to be citizens. So you come with, your husband comes with you and your 2, and the other girl and her 4, and he goes, well, these are my wives. And he goes, we're not doing that heathen crap any like you did on the, we ain't doing that. Mm-hmm. How many, she got 4, you're going to marry her. So you who have 2, you're left with no husband, no protector. You can't have a job because women can't work, can't own no property because women can't own nothing. So you end up with your children without anything, usually back at the plantation. If your family's not already free and can take you in.
Yeah.
You're right back where you left off. So many, many women and children were left without anything. And so now they're telling our husbands, you have to be the head of the household. He's never been the head of the household. In Africa, women didn't take their husband's name. There was a partnership. You see. Yeah. This is all a European standard that was forced upon us. And of course, the church leaders were like, hey, and then you had the respectability politics. Now we're going to prove to these white folks that we fit in. So you're going to be good girls. You ain't going to be that Jezebel out there, that Mandingo out there, the mammy, all these stereotypes that were put upon us that still exist. So I talk about that in both the books so that we get an idea that this is not new. This is not wrong. This is something of which our ancestors have done. It was respected. It was accepted. And it's something that you can do today if you so choose. But it's not just, popping bottles and I got two fine babes on my car, like a lot of the younger people like to portray it. Because in a lot of cultures, you couldn't have a second wife if you didn't have the money.
The means to do it. Right.
Yeah. So,
there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack. So there wasn't anyone talking about us and how we perceive ourselves as, good, fellowship and good women and good monogamous people. And what is wrong with you that you would want to have another partner? And that's the kind of thing I help people talk, unpack
through that. Yeah.
Yeah, how you get through that when you're like, but I do love more than one person. They're like, what's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with me. I love more than one person. They're like, there's got to be something wrong with you. You pussy.
We've heard it a lot that you can only love one person. Like it's not possible to love.
You have more than one friend that you love?
Yeah.
You have more than one child that you love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Remember when you were pregnant with the second child? Remember what you were thinking? How am I going to love the second one as much as I love the first one? Because I love the first one so much. And the microsecond that second baby is born
into the world,
the love is
yeah, you have enough love, right?
But romanticism in Christianity, because they're pushing the monogamy on us, has romanticized and gave love a romantic love a hierarchy. Well, this is different, because that's your partner, that's your boo. That's not the same as loving your mama. Love is love. Love is love.
Okay.
Yeah. You can love them all. You can love 3 kids, 6 kids, 2 dogs, 5 cats, your husband, and the guy who delivers the water. I'm like, you can.
Yeah.
And it's really up to you. You're empowered to make those choices, right? I think that's
Right.
the other piece too. You have to
is
figure out for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a right or wrong. It's
Yeah.
what works for you. Are you and your partner in alignment? Is it something you really want? Don't just jump on the poly bandwagon. Everybody wants to be poly, and they're like, they come to me. I'm like, that's not really polyamorous. That's more of an open relationship, and it's transactional. So it's not even open. It's kind of transactional, like with like a sugar baby kind of thing. So it's
Yeah. Yeah.
really-
Have you seen more women? I know there's a lot of single women, more single women than there are men statistically, I believe. Like, so is it more women coming to you trying to figure this out, or is it a good mix?
It's a good mix. It's usually more couples,
Okay.
right? I get more I do get some individuals, but I get lesbian couples, I get gay male couples, I get triads, it's three people that are already in the relationship and they're trying to figure it out because, there's some emotional management that needs to be, learned, so to speak, and, and people want to sometimes hold their cards close to their chest. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Mhm.
You don't get to do that. When it comes to transitioning, you can't move faster than the slowest person, right?
Yeah.
But the slowest person doesn't get to hold their cards to the chest for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a quick example. So I was the partner I was dating locally in North Carolina, married 18 years, had an open relationship for the whole time. And we started dating. I said, hey, have you ever spent the night out? And he was like, actually, no, I never have. I'm like, why? He goes, never came up. I'm like, well, maybe one day in the future we could, do it overnight. And he was like, sure. I don't know, 4 or 5 months later, while we were going to a swingy, kinky something party in between the city where we both lived. And I said, well, check with your wife, who I know, because I'm nobody's secret. I meet the wife, the girlfriend, or the dog, right? But I need to know that people know I exist and vice versa. And he said to her, hey, he went to talk to her. He came back a couple days later and she said yes. I'm like, you ain't spent the night out in 18 years. And she said, yes. What did you say? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he said, I told her that we were going to the swing party in town. The party was going to run late and that, I was going to move over to the hotel. And so I wouldn't be home probably till morning. Now, was he honest? Yes. We are going to the party. It probably will run late. Was he authentic? No. The party will run late. Who's coming to the hotel with us? I don't know. He and I are getting a hotel room. He and I are spending the night.
Yeah, he left that out.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, and then he was like, in full disclosure and lying are not the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People don't scope, but it feels the same in the bones, in the gut.
Right.
The feelings matter a lot.
The feelings matter a lot. And so I'm like, and then he was like, well, you know how Taylor is, she's, dominant and she's going to want these things. We're going to be traveling with her and her husband soon. So I'm like, why would you get your back? You go over there and you talk to her and you tell her, not only do I want to spend a night with you, but you want to spend the night with me.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you can have a discussion. He's so concerned about hurting her feelings. She's going to, just melt into a puddle on the floor.
Right.
your partners are stronger than that. So that you can have a discussion. Or you come tell me, I don't want to spend a night with you, babe. And then we can have a discussion.
Yeah.
So he went back. He talked to her. She said she wasn't ready. I said, fine. So we won't. And we didn't.
So that's just interesting. She was not ready for that.
And that was okay.
Those little bit of details that he left out.
Yeah.
Right.
But it caused a huge problem later on.
It could cause a huge problem. So we, I have a difficult conversation formula that I use with people. And it works like this. You can use it with your mom, your boss, your dog, your cat. It works with anybody. Being able to have difficult conversations is imperative for any relationship. And it's a real easy formula that I teach. And it's on my pages and it's in the groups. And being able to tell your partner the honest to God truth, the radical, authentic truth, and then have the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Communication, that is hard.
Yeah.
Say
again. The issue that you see with the couples that you coach is the ability to speak authentically. Or what
who teaches you how?
Yeah,
Nobody.
we don't
No,
Not a soul.
no, I mean, who teaches us how? I mean, every now, when you're little, maybe it's like, did you eat that candy? No, ma'am. Did you eat that candy? You ain't gonna get your butt beat. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
So some of us would rather take the punishment later on than tell the truth now, because we don't want to have the discussion. We want to talk about it. We want it when you miss curfew, you're gonna get in a fight with your mama, gonna be mad when you get home, or your dad. But what do? You stay out anyway because you want to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So this accountability is really something that I help people figure out how to be accountable and how to tell the daggone. And not that everybody's lying. Don't get me wrong. People are not lying. Sometimes they're just like, I'm just not gonna.
That full disclosure.
Because or they'll never agree to that. How do you know? I know my partner, and that stop thinking for your partner. You don't know what your partner is going to agree to. No, we've been together 10 years, and there's no way. You have no idea, especially because the partner has told me they would be open to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they won't talk to each other. You don't have to really talk in monogamy much.
Because the rules are already pre-written, right?
Basically, right. Think about it. Everybody in your family is monogamous, right? The city laws and state, country laws are set up for monogamy. Church is set up for monogamy. What's to learn?
Yeah.
Like asking your partner, what kind of sex do you enjoy? What?
Yeah.
Why do I need to ask?
Well, we could at least start there. Like we could at least let's take that away. Like
steps, right?
Let's take that away.
If you do nothing else today after this show, ask your partner.
If you have not asked that yet, please ask that.
I have coached couples and who've been married for more than 10, 15 years. And I'm like, okay, ask or tell your partner, what do you like? And they are so far removed from each other.
Oh my God. No, not even liking the same things after all that time.
No. I mean, they're doing it, but they're wondering why they're struggling. Like, especially when you have, varying libidos, right? Because the person with the really high libido is constantly chasing the person with the really low libido. Now, your personality is not stuck in a box. So the person with the low libido every now and again will raise up to the high libido, but they can't stay there because that's not who they are. Right. And there's a difference between unwilling and unable. They're unable to stay there. It's too much for them. So they go back down to their normal set point, if you will. And then the person with the high libido will stop asking and try to, sit on their hands, calm themselves down, self-pleasure more, and stop asking so much to try to accommodate this person, just as this person tried to accommodate, right? But they can't stay there because this is who they are.
Right.
So it's not that they're unwilling. Sometimes your partner is unable. And sometimes, I'm not saying this is one of thousands, hundreds of reasons that I've heard why people open their relationships, but sometimes that difference does help, when it's broad, not when it's just you want 2 days and they want 3. But it's like you want 7 days, twice a day, and they want once a week, every other month. Like
that's a big difference.
A big gap there.
Listen, I've seen it. I've seen it. And and it's like they're struggling, but that's that not compatible but committed thing.
Yeah.
Right. So we're almost out of time. So before time, like we were talking about earlier, time flies. But tell people how they can find you, how they can maybe participate in some of your events. Where can they go for more information?
Well, Organic Lovin', LOVEN.com. You can find me on all social media. I actually have a free ethical non-monogamy quiz. You all should take it. It's on the website. It's free. It just tells you, do I lean towards monogamy or do I lean more towards? It's not going to make you a swinger. No matter, don't. Like, oh my God, I'm a swinger. No, it's not going to make you anything. But you can just kind of see, because everybody's kind of on a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
You lean more towards monogamy, you lean more towards ethical non-monogamy. And if you do lean more towards ethical non-monogamy, which type? So ethical non-monogamy quiz. You can also book a free clarity call with me, also on organiclovin.com. It's a 20-minute free call. If you just, got a question, you just curious, or you and your partner just want to talk about some things and figure it out, I offer that. My books are on my websites, and of course I do offer the coaching sessions as well. But the books are good. I got a mini guide on there too, that if you just want to do something on your own. You don't want to talk to me. I get it. I talk to you.
Well, it sounds like you have created this wonderful resource for singles and couples alike. So we encourage you, go to organiclovin, LOVEN.com, where you can learn more about Taylor and figure out some things about you, perhaps.
Yes.
You never know. So we're going to go real quick into girl chat. We got 5 minutes to help somebody. So bear with us. Okay. I think this is sort of ties into what you've already been talking about, Taylor. So let's see. Okay. So a woman wrote in, and we're going to give her some advice. She says, I've been married to my husband for 15 years, and recently he suggested something new for our relationship. He wants to invite another man into our bedroom. While I'm open to keeping our sex lives exciting, I'm feeling quite apprehensive about this idea. I was also surprised that he mentioned a man instead of a woman. He has some kind of medical issues where he just wants to watch her and this other man.
Okay.
So she says, what should I do? Do you have any advice for me?
Yes. Talk about it. Book some time with me. I'll walk you through it. I can't come there, but the thing is this, there are some men that very much enjoy being able to see their partner pleased. That's the kind of love they have for their partner, right? And they want to see their partner loved upon, whether they do or do not have a medical issue. But the fact that he is being selfless enough to know that just because I'm incapable and I know I have a vibrant woman here, why should she have to be without it? Because I'm unable, right? Incapable of doing it. So talk about it. Talk about what you want to do. Talk about where you're going to find the people. There's like swinger sites and there's something called stag vixen or hot wifing. And hot wifing, stag vixen is kind of the same thing. It's kind of like husbands finding men, single men, also known as bulls, who are there for a good time, not a long time. They ain't trying to keep nobody. They ain't trying to marry a woman. They ain't trying to make no girlfriend. They're there to do their thing and they're going about their life. Test results, using barriers, condoms, of course. And have fun. But talk about all the possibilities and talk about all the emotions that are going to come up. Like, how are you going to feel if I'm really enjoying this? Am I going to get to talk to him after this? What if I like it a lot? Like, is this somebody that can come in all the time? Are we going to have rotating people? I do. And so it's not the same as cuckold, right? Cuckold is when a bull, the guy, single guy who comes in for the couple, and or the wife actually humiliates.
Oh my God.
Emotionally, like verbally or physically, the husband or boyfriend. So if there's no humiliation, that's not cuckold. It's just hot wifing, meaning that he just wants to see me have a good time. I'm gonna have my good time, and he's gonna go. And I
so many things and definitions here.
So there's a lot of overlap between swinging open, polyamory, and why not have fun? You talking about YOLO?
I knew a lady who had, I guess you call it hot wifing. She had a guy, and the husband picked him out and all that kind of stuff. They had done it for years, and we would see the boyfriend. It was not it's seemingly normal because they seemed to be on the same page. She was happy.
It's adults having adults fun, and if you're adults about it. And I will just this one quick thing, nobody can steal somebody that doesn't want to go.
That is very true. No matter what you do.
Right? And you cannot make somebody stay that's ready to leave.
You cannot keep them. Absolutely.
Yeah, if they want to go. And you want those who want you. You want your partner to want to stay because they want to go. Well, listen, it was nice.
It's time to go. Right.
Next.
Yeah. There's
8 billion people on this planet.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I have to tell you, I have enjoyed this conversation.
Oh,
Right. Thank you so much for
Yes.
being here. Our time is up, but you were wonderful.
Yes,
you
So
were
smart.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you both. Gorgeous women. Get out there, Rob, and do the marathons and pickleball. Do all the things.
I'm doing all the things.
We're
I'm
doing
a
all the
little tired. I'm tired, but I'm doing
Listen,
it.
do you take maca?
I do not take maca. I take a lot of stuff. I can't say that
Maca.
maca is one of them. Okay. I'm
Janet,
gonna
do
look
you
at
still
that.
eat? Do you still eat meat?
Rare
You eat
because
it rare. Or
it's
you
not, it's
rarely
not
eat
working. It's not working well for me. So
Rarely
I have cut
eat
back.
meat.
I
Yeah.
have
You rarely eat
cut
it.
back quite a bit, but
Meat, chicken, fish, dairy.
dairy, no dairy. I've cut that out. I got fish. And then my husband gets us lots of supplements. So I'm going to ask about the maca because I very well could be taking it and I don't know. But
Maca is it's an adaptogen. So
Okay.
it helps balance out the hormones, right?
Okay.
You're in menopause.
Well, and I'm all in that stuff too, right? So
yeah, so maca,
figuring all
ashwagandha,
that
those are both adaptogens that help
Okay.
with not racy, and it's natural. And I have
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
He's pretty good about that, so I'm gonna ask him about that now. That's so
I have
will
an
look it up.
excellent holistic practitioner that can
Okay.
help you share,
Thank you, Taylor, for that.
Thank you all
Because
so much.
I need all the energy to do all the to YOLO. I need it.
Yep. You got to check into that. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Another great show. If you like the show, please give us a heart. Please share this with your network. We're giving out lots of information here. We want everybody to dig in and see what works for them. But until next time.
Until next time. Thanks, Michelle. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Robin.
Bye.